Hello. We're gonna, if the occasion arises, we're gonna try using the new remedy BG and see if it works for us. Okay. Right now, we are exploring why I can't seem to do function overloading correctly. You would think that it's simple, and yet it is not. My suspicion is that for some reason, we think void pointer can convert to string, which it should not be able to. That would result in Babby being malformed. Let's just try that thesis here for a second. I don't think this should compile. It doesn't. Okay. Now, what if I say here, and I say f of v? I don't think that'll work either. No, because these don't. Okay, what if it's this? Same error. This is all working as expected. So why in this case is Babby not formed? I don't even understand. What if I do this? This was sent into the mailbag, by the way. Even this. So forget even all the rest of that stuff. Okay. Oh, okay. No? This is weird. What if I do this? That compiles. Okay. I see. I see. Okay, this one matches this one. With empty, I think empty varargs is actually a small penalty. I'm not sure. But it shouldn't matter because this just shouldn't. This should not form Babby on the B version here. So like, it does it in isolation? No. No, it doesn't. So why does it think that multiple overloads? Oh wait, it's saying line 1 and line 6? But this is at line, oh, it's because I added 2 lines. Never mind. Okay, so here, this is line 1 and line 6. And if I say no join there, okay, it's line 6. So it is really talking about this one. There's no mystery. So like, it knows that doesn't match. It's just this somehow. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so procedure call line 16. Do I dare to try to debug the compiler with remedy? Let's see what happens. I actually kind of don't want to. Let's try. Like, I never do. I don't even remember where it is. No, not release. Debug. No, not open session. What? How? Ugh, this is why I don't want to do this. Not release, debug. Can I just do this? Nope, can't drag. All right, great. New. Okay, let's just put it here. Maybe that's what you do. All right. Okay, that looks like what I used to do when I use this. All right, so we're going to do this. Halted with exit code 1. That's good. That means we ran it. So now I have to load a source file for in the source folder. Why is this so awful now? How do I change the view layout? No, I don't want the folders to be 80 miles large. How do I just say small, biggie smalls? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, but okay, still sucks, but whatever. What was I even doing? Oh yeah, I'm trying to find the source folder, and then same place as it always was, TM. Dude, there's been so many versions of this that I've ceased tracking it. Like, all right. And they're all the same, and they're all different for no reason. Like, it's horrible. Oh yeah. Here we go. Boom. Now we want to go line 16 in handling the procedure call. Okay. So we want to go here. Edit breakpoint. Let's try this. Wait. It's questioning my authority. Rip. 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 I don't think I can figure out why it's questioning my authority. This isn't even our stuff. This is just a Visual Studio executable. All right, well, we tried. We'll try this for our own stuff in a little bit. All right, so here's the file. I mean, maybe I got the line number wrong, but it was literally questioning it. So we were right here. We're going to resolve potential overloads. We're going to say conditions call L0 is 16, run. Oh, I don't think we're running the right program. Hold on, because we didn't set that up. And we have other breakpoints. Yeah, wrong one. There we go. Okay. Resolve potential overloads. So we're going to collect the overloads. Okay. We kind of only collected one overload. Oh, but never mind. That's actually not right, because this is going to be like an overload head, right? That's going to have more. I think I changed the implementation of this at some point. Okay, so I'm going to do this, cast this to declaration. Whoops. I put the 0. Dude, I don't know what's going on. Status overloads data. Oh, never mind. It was the wrong data structure. Scope entry, final decal, constant lambda. Weird. It only found one function. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Am I even looking at the right file? Nope. Okay. See, I get ahead of myself sometimes. Let's get rid of this breakpoint. We don't care about that one. Now we're in the right file. Now we're in the right file. Okay. Here we go. We get an overload. Bam. Bam, bam. We've got 2. Thank you. We look at one of them. Okay, this is going to be probably the first one, but we don't know. This is line 1. It is the one that we're actually trying to call, which is great. So we call sort arguments. We get success is true, as we expect, because we can call that. So we say matched arguments. Great. Now we come to the second one. Here we go. We say success. It is also true, which is wretched. Okay. So we need to figure out why that says success. So we can get here faster by saying this. And just in case it comes out in the wrong order, which it shouldn't, we're going to say lambda L0 is 6. Here we go, 6. All right. Get rid of that old breakpoint. Here we go. This is the line 1. This is the line 6. All right. So why do you think that you can call this? You wish you knew how to use a debugger? I mean, it's kind of important if you're going to program beyond a certain level of sophistication to be able to use a debugger. When will the compiler be released? In the year, well, obviously 2077 was too early because of all the bugs. So I think it's going to have to be 2777. Debugger should be taught almost immediately after Hello World. I mean, yeah, I do think you need a slightly more complex program than Hello World, because you don't, like if you're using like printf or something, you don't want people to step into printf, right? But yeah. Yeah, it should be taught very basic. The problem is a lot of people use languages that don't have frickin' debuggers now. All right. Yeah, like I think as soon as you do something with a loop, you should know about the debugger, right? Okay. Next, we're calling sort arguments. Why? What is even happening? Okay. There is a varargs argument, so we're going to do all this stuff. Varargs argument index is 1. Wait, what? Oh, because it's this one, right? Index number 1. That's great. I bet it's something about... I think I can predict what's happening. Except, no, not really. Let's just see. Let's just see. It's going to be something really dumb. This is not going to be a rocket science bug, I don't think. Sometimes you could be surprised, though. Okay. So for all the arguments given, we figure out what index they are. It's very boring because we didn't use any argument names. So it's just index 0. Aha. Now we're trying... Oh, okay. Yes. We're trying to put this in the varargs. Okay. So we do a make varargs. This is correct, except I think we're supposed to type check this later. Oh. It's possible we defer the type checking of this. I don't know. Okay, let's just see. Okay, so we put a varargs array as argument 1. That is correct. It's got this expression that is now of type void pointer. And that should cause it to type check incorrectly. Yeah, it's a pointer to void. All right, so fill in the missing default arguments. There aren't any. If there's a varargs, we set the type. We literally don't check it. What? We must check it later. So I think the problem is we check it at some other time. Because we did generate an error for the non-overload version. It's the same code path. Like, I believe we should do a check that types match right here. I don't know why we're not doing that. Line 1942. Now, before I just go putting that in, I want to know why in the non-varargs case it's getting type checked correctly. All right. So in the non-varargs case, when we did this, let me close remedy for now. It's not helping. When we did this, it knows what's going on. Let's make sure that even works in debug build, which is probably what we're about to run. Yeah. So mismatching levels of direction, indirection, that is. So I could just break there and say, what is going on? Okay, we're in the same place. Success here also returns true. So this is happening in like a post check somewhere. Type check and cast make varargs. Okay, I forgot that I broke that into its own thing. So here, okay, this is in type check arguments. Which happens much later after sort arguments. Right. So sort arguments is just making sure that we know where the arguments go. It doesn't do all the final type checking. So, okay, that makes sense to me. So then let's go back here and see why we don't go to type check arguments. So we go, we have success, and we finish that. And then I guess it's in type check one overload. Probably. But not this one. This is for the other function. Whoa, what? Oh. Sorry. Okay, that's not where the error is reported though. Let me go back there and see, because I forgot, I didn't change the source file back. So this is, we're only calling one overload right now. So this is the one that correctly errors, but I want to go back to whatever that error message was, where we broke, what was it? Mismatching levels of indirection. There. Let's just go, okay. Type check arguments helper, type check arguments, infer types of the call. So resolve potential overloads. See, this is like a secondary thing that's only supposed to happen if you didn't check by other means. I think. Oh, no. This is always supposed to go through here. Okay. So I think my procedure call mechanism is just stupid. Because we assume, let me think about this. We assume that we get down to one procedure and then we come here and check the arguments. And it's like there's literally only one thing that we do that on. But the other code is assuming that they'll somehow get matched later for every overload. And that it's not sort arguments' job to type check the arguments. And the reason for that is because after you sort arguments, you can invoke polymorphism and whatever else and run modify procedures. Those have to happen after you sort the arguments because you don't know otherwise what is the input to them. And then the output from there determines what the final arguments are and even how many there are, because polymorphism also invokes bakes, which remove arguments from functions and stuff, right? So the cancel everything. Cancel everything. How's it going, everybody? I'm tired already. Streaming makes me tired, I gotta say. Just finished a long development stream. Well, congratulations. So should the second function not fail? Well, okay, I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out what I want. And I think okay, this is kind of gross, right? Because A, we actually need to type check the arguments, no matter what, for the final procedure. But we also need to type check it to determine the reason this is a hard choice is because I don't want to type check every function twice, right? Once for the overload, and then again when we get back here. And the reason that matters is because of inserting casts onto the things, and the way we do that we kind of want to do it back here once we know everything that is done and the final polymorphed function and all this stuff. However, it's not correct to assume that you can wait till you get here, at least in the case of varargs, and at least in the case of polymorphism, although that case is already handled, I think. I'm sort of thinking that type restrictions also probably don't fucking work. Can I come up with a case? What if I do this? What if I do this? We're just going to go to another thing, and I'm going to say beta all right, and then we're going to have a couple procedures. We're going to have func A that takes an alpha. We're going to have func B that takes a beta. And then we're going to go, call it func, not func A and B, because we want to overload them. That's the whole point. Func of gamma. What happens there? Oh, I forgot. Why is this still messed up? Dang it. All right. So I messed up. Okay, that actually works. So interface is checked correctly. I guess because that's part of the polymorphism step. So I think my solution for now is to just handle this when we add something to the make varargs. With a strongly, sternly worded note that this is not great and that we should think about it more. That is what I think. Is Sokoban still being developed? Oh no, it's not on my screen right this second. I think I'm having a little bit of a sugar crash right now because I ate some peanut butter cups right before the stream. Chai Mama would be a good game. I would play that. Who wouldn't want to play Chai Mama? Come on. Honestly, I have no idea what games are in development right now, so I can't answer questions about what I like that's in development. I liked Slipways, that was in development, and now it's out. Saying I don't understand why Rust is good is offensive. I understand what Rust does that is useful. I just don't think it's the right trade-off. Please don't say that shit around here. Don't say I don't understand. My concern is on making software as bug-free as possible. And that is not actually the Rust people's concern, right? They confuse the issue by saying memory safety, and conflating that with bugs generally. But they don't do that much to help you really with bugs. Almost no bugs are memory safety bugs. Well, maybe you have a special programming team. Okay. Line 1942. See, I'm not totally senile yet. I remember what line to go to. Oh, the process of developing stuff. So I don't know if you noticed, but this is a compiler stream. Is there any language that doesn't have an echo chamber? I think we don't have an echo chamber yet. At least not of people who are actually using it. Like the conversation seems pretty reasonable. But maybe that's just due to small size, right? It might be impossible to quality control once the user base becomes large. I don't really like most development tools in the world, but that's not a coincidence. It's because people are following mostly what I think is a bad paradigm of software development. So it's not a mistake that a lot of the stuff is bad. I do like telemetry by Rad Game Tools somewhat. In fact, a number of Rad Game Tools' libraries are interesting and useful. I can't talk about under NDA console development tools, but there are a couple of those that are pretty good. But then even those, like, they're a lot better than Visual Studio for what they do, but even those are sort of like, they have their energy sapped by people doing like stupid LLVM UB stuff or whatever. Have I thought about gamifying compiler development? No. Well, I've thought about something related that is still under wraps. Okay. Check that types match. Vararg's element type. Maybe that's not in a local. We might have to dereference that somewhere. That's the wanted type. And the given type is ampersand arg. Oh, and we want silent check. I'm actually not sure about that. Overload, check that. Types match. Yield upon. Can we yield from in here? I mean, this doesn't take a yield. Okay. Okay. It's fine. We'll do this elsewhere anyway. It's better to do this outside. Yeah, just making sure I didn't delete something. Sort arguments. Okay. Okay. We're just going to explain if we even this might be called elements type. I don't know. We subscript the expressions. Silent check, yield upon. We shouldn't do this here either, because we're not set up to yield here. We could. It wouldn't be the worst. But I would kind of rather do it. I mean, okay, type. It should be actually in type check one overload. I bet that's the best place to put it. Because type check arguments probably doesn't check the var args. I see. Okay, no, this is fine. Remember when I was looking at all this? This is so confusing for such a simple problem. This is actually what's supposed to do it. It's just we're ignoring failure is all. Right? We're already doing the work, right? So type check one overload. Returns whether we match. It's also ignored here. Oh, we don't care about it there because we know it's going to fail. Okay, so here, and then we go into type check arguments, and we do correctly return the false. So, like, literally, I think that was it. I got to change it back. All that, you guys got to see me fumbling around for not quite an hour. Just to put that. It's Heartbleed 2.2. 2. Puzzle Pirates was fun when it first came out. I don't understand the question about packages. I don't understand what you're asking. Do you use any libraries? Yes. Non-standard, what do you mean standard? What do you mean standard? Not OS libraries, not libc, something that you download. If you want to download something, go ahead. Now let's hope we didn't break something. Would I have any advice for undergrads who are observing low-quality software education at their educational institute? Can't help notice there's a large gap of expected knowledge from students and faculty at certain institutes that isn't being discussed. Yeah, I mean, I think most schools are bad at teaching programming. That has been true for a long time. My school wasn't that good at it, and it's one of the best schools. And it's probably, I don't know. I don't know if it's better or worse now, but most of these places that claim to be teaching people programming are doing a very bad job, for sure. This is not a real bug. It is Emacs making garbage files in my modules folder that then we try to compile. It drives me nuts. Yeah, really, why do you need a university to learn programming these days? Here's the thing. Your professor probably has a PhD in computer science, right? Because that's how it goes. Someone who has a PhD in computer science didn't do that much programming when they were a PhD. They mostly were reading other people's research. They probably managed to program one thing in the 5 years that they did their PhD program, right? Their PhD, right, degree. So they probably did a bunch of school level exercises like you're doing now when they were an undergrad, and then they probably programmed one thing when they were a PhD, right? And then as a faculty member, they're probably running a project, and they may do a little bit of programming on that project. But they just simply haven't programmed very much. So why listen to them? The one thing that they can teach you very effectively is how to be a computer science professor, right? If you want to be a computer science professor, which is a totally reasonable thing to want to be, they can teach you that. If you want to program well, they don't know. They know more than you. That may be true, but you've got to consider the rate at which you will learn versus how much time you spend. And how much money you spend. That's right. Do I think project-based learning would be better? That's what I always did. Like when I was in school, I spent all my time on my own projects and got bad grades in my classes. And that did mean that it took me longer to learn some things because I didn't take them in classes, or I wasn't paying attention in the classes. But in the long run, I think it has clearly benefited me because I'm doing things that I think are way more interesting than what anyone I went to school with is doing now that I know of. Of course, there might be people doing awesome stuff that I don't know of, but you know. Although I will say, I went to college with Hans Reiser, so that's a thing. For all the kids out there who don't know who that is. He was actually, he was like a couple years ahead of me or something. At least one, probably two. And in school, that seems like a lot, right? So we weren't quite totally contemporaries. I would say that Windows is not that widely used in the top end universities. They mostly use Unix based operating systems. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know if the person who sent this in is still watching the stream, but it will be fixed in the next beta. Dang it, I left my no check-in. I haven't commented it yet. Well, I don't need to explain because that wasn't even the right solution. So that's the thing, guys. If I were very tired and not wanting to put in the little bit of extra effort that we put in, I would have probably put some crappy solution in here. And then that would have been kind of conceptually duplicate code with that other code that I eventually found that was really supposed to do this job. And that's really bad news because then your system, like anything in your system involving that idea, now looks more complicated than it really should be. And then as I forget what it should be or other people come along, it's like, that's the kind of thing that just gets grosser and grosser over time and makes your project unmanageable, right? And makes it explode in lines of code and complexity and stuff. And so you really do have to be on the lookout for that stuff. I was feeling tired because of my sugar crash, so I didn't want to look more into it, but I decided to, and that was a good thing because it literally was a one line change instead of me adding like 15 lines or whatever I would have ended up doing. And that's a very bad 15 lines because it's because it would have been just a gross mess and confusing to have that stuff split into two places that are both doing the same thing. Yeah, that was the void string bug. Do I think having a non-class-based method call which implicit this or self on any object you call with it is a good idea to implement? I wouldn't do that. If I understand correctly, I wouldn't do that, but You know, if you make a programming language, you can make it do whatever you want. Okay. I will go back to the mailbag. I will say, all right. Well, you're probably watching, but I'm emailing fixed in the next beta because I do that. Okay. Yeah, let's look at this one. This one is very simple. It's literally this. Yeah, the screen's turned off because I don't want you to see everybody's email. Come on, get with the program. Harmac said he might help Tesla with UiPerf. That's cool. If he could pass off to that team some knowledge of performance programming, that'll be really good. John Carmack looks kind of old now, and I'm his age, so GG's. Am I really John Carmack's age? I don't know. I'm about his age. How old is Carmack? '51. Okay. I am almost John Carmack's age. When am I getting a tour of Starbase? When I make Doom, Quake, Quake 2, Quake 3, and Oculus. Okay. Did I ever get a SpaceX factory tour? No. Have increased the beta size pool in the last 6 months? Yes. I don't. I would guess that the beta, it's probably not quite doubled in the past 6 months. I don't remember. I don't exactly track it very closely over time, but oh yeah, I only slept 5.5 hours last night too. That's why I'm tired. Because I was playing Quack And then I got up at 7:30 in the morning. Did I finish Quack? I finished the main Quack. Then we started working on the first Quack expansion pack. And we ended last night on the worst FPS puzzle in the world that I've ever seen in my entire life. And then hopefully it gets better after that. Oh my God, it was so bad. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I suspect maybe we're just adding this to the wrong namespace. Like you can't really control. Well, okay, the insert is supposed to go into its own scope by default. Maybe that doesn't work. What if I do this instead? Okay, so firstly, let's verify that this doesn't work again. I know it doesn't, but yeah. So it builds, but then it's like unresolved external symbol. What about x64? Okay, same thing, except we're asserting. So this is weird because it's like, oh, we see this function. We think we saw main. Oh, but it didn't get marked as live or something. This may not have to do with scoping. But if it doesn't, I actually don't understand how that could be. So hold on, let me try a variant of this, a Loki variant, where we say, instead of this, we're going to go run add build string. Whoops. Here. Right? What if we do that? Oh. Compiler. That actually works just fucking fine. Oh, yeah, by the way, if that was your bug, then we have a we have a workaround for you, which is just do this. But still got to fix the bug. Still got to fix the bug. Why are these things different? Yeah, this is maybe a more direct workaround because you don't have to call this from somewhere else. You can just do that. Okay. This is very weird. Okay, I'm just going to run this in x64 mode, and I'm going to verify. Oh yeah, I bet it's a no DCE thing. When you suggested that, I thought you meant something else, but I bet that's a nope. Nope. Same issue. Interesting. That's pretty weird. I actually expected that to fix it as well. All right, so we're going to just run this in x64 and see what's going on. Okay. So we have lambda. This is program main. Oh. See, here's the thing. Oops, this is in runtime support. This is supposed to get replaced. When we find an entry point. And I bet that's not happening. So if I say entry point name and search for this, there's going to be a place where we check this. Prep backend and generate code. Is it here? See, it is though, because we don't say this. Let's see. I must have other breakpoints. Oh my God, look at all the breakpoints. Okay, let's clean some breakpoints. All right. That's unset, so it defaults to main. That's fine. Entry. Entry. Boom. Boom. Okay, we have it. So it's a declaration. Its expression is a lambda, right? Okay. It's called main. What about the body of the lambda, though? It hasn't gone live. And it's too late to do that here. So that must happen somewhere else. And I don't know why no DCE didn't fix that. So this is a dead code elimination style problem. So what's this? Consider lambda for entry point. Lambda is referenced as what makes the body do its thing. So I'm going to just stop here. And we'll probably, so this is where it gets confusing is, oh wait, we never even fucking got there. Okay. Like what? Okay, this is probably going wrong right here. So yeah, it is a scope thing probably. Let's just say, okay. Workspace 2. So parent is going to be a file scope, I bet. Oh. Parent. Application scope, which is sort of the top level, is 492cc68. So this is parent is 49e. It's like 2 frickin' levels down. Oh, because the insert... The insert like makes its own block, I think. Okay. This is the problem. It's not really true. So here's the thing. Just because languages use LLVM for the backend or whatever, it's not totally true that you could expect them to have the same performance for that reason, because the language semantics actually matters. I would expect that Rust does fine on that metric. Rust probably can be optimized more than an equivalent C program or something, right? I would bet that that's actually true and that you get a little bit more speed. This language has its own things that we do to help with optimization in the language semantics, but we haven't ever benchmarked that or anything because we're not at that point. C++, you just need restrict. Yeah, but nobody does, right? Except game programmers. And the problem is if you use restrict and you're wrong, then you're very sad, right? Restrict is not a thing anymore. Yeah, it is. What you talking about, Willis? Anyway, it's just to say that, you know, like the back end is going to try to optimize, but if you give it really confusing information that it can't draw enough conclusions from, then it's not going to be able to optimize that well. Now, that said, I think all this focusing on optimization is kind of misguided because, again, the programmer can optimize things order of magnitudes more than the compiler can. So what we're designing for is helping the programmer be better at understanding their program and changing it and making it better over time, right? Which is a different focus than trying to make the optimizer be able to optimize the most. It's good, like all things being equal, you want your optimizer to be able to do a lot, but I think that's an overreach. Do you smell the death of optimizing compiler? It sounds like an essay someone wrote. I don't know. Have I read that? Let's see. The death of optimizing compilers. By Dan Bernstein. I don't agree with the basic. Yeah, I read this a long time ago. I'd have to go read it again thoroughly now, but I don't quite agree with the hot versus cold distinction and all that. How do you deal with states when being in game, having to load the level again and again? E.g. runtime introspection, scripting, or do you just hope it'll always remain a fast compiler? I don't understand. This question doesn't make sense to me. What does the compiler being fast or not fast have to do with how we load levels in the game? You mean when I'm working on the game and I compile and restart? Well, it's both. Like, yes, the compiler will always be fast as long as I'm in charge of it. And so there's that. But also, like, the game just loads it loads back into the level where you were before and loads the undo state and all that. So in practice, it's not really a problem. Sometimes as we work on the game, sometimes startup takes longer or less long, right? And then I push on people to reduce startup time. So yeah. In the FPGA world, everyone is fine with the tools being good at optimizing only if you work with them and provide reasonable inputs. I think that's the correct stance, right? So there's this very weird thing that I think is the responsibility of the computer science professors, right? And even they know it's not really like this in reality, but it's like the mental model, right? And the mental model is that for some input program, right, there's some canonical fast version of that that's unique, and it's the compiler's job to map any input that corresponds to that canonical fastest version to the fastest version, right? Which is horseshit, actually. That's completely not a thing. But it's this mathematical way of thinking about compiling that is not helpful, right? You got used to Visual Studio long build compile times. It's annoying. Yeah, well, why do you think I started this project? It's because I was sitting there and Visual Studio was so damn slow. Okay. So this part is just kind of broken. I'm just going to put a loop here. This is going to be a stupid ass fix. This is in pump typer. After this, I'm going to take a nap because I did not get enough sleep last night, and then we might quack tonight. All right, so here we're going to go. We're first going to make sure that it fixes the bug. Okay. So nothing in a struct, nothing in a lambda. And then if it's application scope, otherwise we go up, right? That's all. That'll fix it. So that insert, it produces a scope that then exports things out. The thing is, yeah, we'll explain it in a minute when we type the comment. All right. Ding, it works. Ding, it works. Let's make it actually do a thing. Oh, it does. It prints. See? Okay, it's fixed. It is fixed. Let's make sure we didn't break things. Sometimes it's harder to find the thing. On what ratio do I actually read back all the long comments? I don't actually know about the ratio. It's just sometimes it is very, very, very beneficial. Like sometimes the cost of not having a comment would be very high, right? So it's not necessarily how many of them as a straight proportion. It's like there's a power law to things, right? There's a power law to how important various comments are, right? A lot of them are not that important. Some of them are very, very, very important. And the reason you put a lot is because sometimes it's hard to predict in advance what is going to be very, very, very important. Although you often do have some guess at that, but that guess could be wrong. Would this allow you to declare main inside of another function? No, I explicitly disallow that right now because we just don't want to go there. Because here's the thing is you don't want to have like namespace confusion around main. Like what if somebody declares a main in one function and somebody declares one in another function? It's like, well, you have to pick one and that's an error. But then if you're looking at all that, like saying that somebody uses the entry point name in the global scope is a very well-defined thing. Because as the application programmer, you're in control of the entry point name, you're in control of the global scope. So it's kind of your fault. If you say any function anywhere could declare it, now you don't know what somebody named stuff, right? Okay. So we have to explain now. Insert right now creates a subscope, and then links it outward. This is maybe not great. So it should be reconsidered in the long term, but in the meantime, it causes a particular problem here. Because we don't see the declaration that is linking out. We are just looking at the scope and closing the procedure. We're just looking at the scope and closing the procedure, which will be inside that insert. So we do this loop to take care of that situation. Now we can also make a repro from this. It will live on forever in the Valhalla of repros. It's a 2-liner. Okay, so we're going to put this as test regression inserted main. Whoops. And then I think we do everything in regression now. Yeah. All right, so if we do this, we should, when we do regression, we should see it go by. We're running LLVM this time, so it's slower. Test regression inserted main. There we go. Didn't fail. We've been running on a OpenGL backend for a while, but we're doing DirectX 12 right now. I expect we should switch over to that before too long. I don't know how long before too long is, but yeah. Okay. That's great. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say fixed inability to, or fixed link failure, fixed a link failure when, actually that's not really right. Fixed link failure when adding main to the program via insert. All right. 3 bug fixes so far today. One of them was off stream, but that's fine. Boom. All right, everybody. Since I didn't sleep very well last night, I'm going to take a nap. Depending on how that goes, I might get up and program more. We might do some quack. We'll see. We might document. Who knows? Thanks, everybody, for coming by. Let's find someone to raid, though, because it's been a little bit since we did that. Let's go to science and technology. What? Fish are friends, ducks are too. Okay. Some things have not changed in a while, huh? We got boxes and lines. We've got some kind of indie platformer. We've got BRB. We've got crimes against humanity. 2D space MMO game dev. All right, we're going to go here. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you later on.